You're watching Drake Queen Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Queen Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you, another Let's Play episode of Promises to Keep. So yeah, before we jump into actually, you know what? I'll save the Patreon stuff for the end of the video. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. We got some cute boys. Alright. Well, I guess I always found other excuses to ground you. Like the Fakemon fiasco? Wow, that brought some memories back. Fakemon trading cards were a huge thing at our elementary and middle school. I'd forgotten all about them. Rofi used to hide all his cards in his locker before going home. It all came flooding back to me now. At some point in middle school, our friend group had each bought a mystery card pack for a group unboxing session. Most of us got common low-value cards, typical pack filler. But Rofi ended up pulling a card worth nearly $500. We all lost our minds. For a group of preteens, $500 was unfathomable. The ironic thing was, of course, he had to keep it a secret. There was no way he could tell his parents about the card. A couple of us offered to help him sell, but he wouldn't part with it. That is, until his parents found out about his collection. He managed to sneak the rare card to me ahead of time, but the rest of his deck wasn't so lucky. They threw every single one of his cards in the trash and grounded him for weeks. Remembering his distraught face made my blood boil. Here, hold on a second. I got something to show you. Rofi pauses the game and gives me a knowing grin, hopping up to grab his backpack. No way. I see him unzip a side pocket and reach into the bag, then I hear another zipper. Secret pocket? You know it. I see him pull a small card case out of his bag. Ta-da! In perfect condition. He hands the case to me with a single card inside, the holographic Charizard card, looking the same as it did the day he pulled it. Wow. I could feel a goofy smile start to spread across my face. For some reason, knowing that he was able to hang on to it just makes me so happy. You'll never guess how much it's valued at now. You're right, I won't. How much? Look it up. I rolled my eyes. He could just tell me, but he obviously wants to drag out the realization. Silly pup. $75,000? Rofi, that's life-changing money. Heh, pretty cool, right? Cool. I mean, you couldn't even buy a decent-sized house for that much. Cool? I mean, yeah, I guess, but that's just an insane amount of money for one card. Yeah, sure, but I mean, why haven't you sold it yet? Don't wanna. I would kill for an extra $75,000 in my pocket. Hey, don't get any ideas. It holds a lot of sentimental value for me, and I'm not really in need of any money to the point where I'd want to trade this card just for cash. I guess that makes sense. I remember the happiness I felt when I learned he still had it. Wait, I never asked, what kind of job do you have? Well, I was a biology major, so... Doctor? No, I could never. I don't want to be in debt for the rest of my life. I went to a PA school and became a physician's assistant. You operate under a doctor's supervision, but do a lot of the same medical things they do, sacrificing a bit of autonomy for a shorter education. It's usually 2 years post-college for PA, compared to over 8 years for doctors. Well, sure, but I didn't think your parents would let you become anything other than a doctor. Well, they weren't happy. They hated that I went to the PA route instead of a med school. But you just kept on trucking? Rofi nods. At some point I have to live my life, you know. Huh, I never thought I'd hear that from him. When we were kids, he was so obedient. Always so frightened of what his parents would think. Maybe he has changed. More ways than I thought. And really, the money isn't that bad. How much, if you don't mind me asking? I can buy around 2 Holo Charizard cards a year with my salary, if my math is right. His math was always right. Okay, so he was making bank. Got it. Isn't that bad? You're probably out-earning everyone on the street. He giggles. Okay, it's a good gig, I admit. He picks up his controller again. Mind if we get back to the game? I mean, I had more questions, but... Sure, sorry to pry. Nah, you're good. Rofi pauses and the room goes quiet again. I can't help but think about what he said earlier. At some point he just had to live his life. I wonder what adventures he went on after I left in middle school. I could spend hours catching up with him like this. Over the course of our gaming, we've shifted closer, and now I feel him start to lean against me a little. Before I know it, his head is fully on my shoulder. I don't say anything at first, though I can feel a slight blush creep across my face. Our lives are so different now, but his fur still feels so familiar. I see him glancing at me out of the corner of my eye and hear him giggle again. Soft, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, it's just like I remember. Shit, he could definitely feel my face warming up. Yeah. Sensing weakness, Rofi starts rubbing his cheek against my shoulder, distracting me with his impressively velvety fur. I make a critical mistake, and the match goes to Rofi. Hey, come on! You totally did that on purpose! Sneaky dog. I gave him a playful swat, and he lifts his head off my shoulder. You said it was just like you remember. All good memories, I hope. Most of them, yeah. We used to do this all the time. Yeah, but we would usually be lying down. He flips over onto his belly and looks up at me expectantly. Like this. You gonna join me? Oh god. Oh god. Lay next to Rofi. For old time's sake, of course. I roll onto my belly and lay next to him, and Rofi starts the next round. I get the urge to run my paws through his head fur, fluffy as ever, but I resist, remembering my promise to Hunter. I had to win at least once. Let his shenanigans around last much longer, the two of us more easily matched. Damn it! And he wins again. Hey, are you sure you haven't played this before? I wouldn't lie to you about that. Fair enough, he was a prankster, not a liar. I ruffle his head fur playfully, earning a giggle from the dog. Once again, it hits me just how easily we were picking up where we left off. All thanks to him, really. Rofi could always warm up a room. He doesn't need to fill his living spaces with decorations or personal belongings. He breathes life into a place just by being himself. My earlier worries feel so silly now. At his core, he's still Rofi. He's just figured out who he is a bit more. As we continue playing, I start to lose track of time, lost in the game, and lost in memory. Despite the circumstances, the many years we spent apart, I feel safe with Rofi. I'm so cozy. The last thing I think of before drifting off is that I have to get better at this game, to beat him next time we hang out. I slowly stir awake, music still playing, and the first thing I see is Rofi breathing softly in his sleep. I let out a big yawn, shaking off the post-nap stupor. Rofi starts to stir next to me. He yawns too, then stretches out his arms and legs. He turns to face me, blinking slowly. That was a good nap. Agreed. After all the craziness today, I really needed it. I clamber to my paws and reach one out to help Rofi up. Once standing, he stretches a bit more and turns off the TV. I'm starving. Wonder what's for dinner? Great question. I'm sure they're figuring something out downstairs. Maybe we can help. Race you down there. The dog zooms past me, throwing the door open and disappearing into the hallway. I'll have to catch up to him again. I run into Theo on the way down the stairs. Rofi's still nowhere to be seen. Oh, Leo, I'm getting your air mattress set up right now. Sorry about the wait. I meant to do this earlier, but I just haven't had the time to think today. If you don't mind, I think I'll get you settled in the den. You can close the doors and get some privacy when you want it. It sounds great, Theo. Thank you. Hey, tell you what, if you want, you can head down to the kitchen. There's snacks in the pantry and beer in the fridge. I still need to figure out what dinner will look like, so please help yourself for now. Rofi should be down there now if you want to join him. Before I can respond, I hear Hunter's voice come from down the hallway. Yo, did someone say snacks? I hear a whiff of excitement and the sound of a fridge door closing. Sounds like someone got into the stash already. A starry-eyed Rofi appears at the foot of the stairwell, canned drinks in one arm and an assortment of colorful chip bags in the other. Theo, you didn't tell me you had all these cool flavors of soda and chips. I can't pick. His puppy eyes come out again. Theo sighs, but he can't hold back a small smile. Well, feel free to try them all. I've been having trouble getting through my hoard of junk food anyway. Rofi's tail starts wagging faster, as if that was even possible. Whoa, really? There's no way you can finish these by yourself. I can tell Hunter wants in on the snacks, too. Well, I'm sure there's more than enough for all of you. Why don't you guys hang out a bit more while I figure out dinner? Thank you, Theo. I love you. Rofi bounds up the stairs in a flash. Oh, let me readjust. There we go. Okay. Sweet. Thanks, Theo. Hunter does a two-fingered salute to Theo before hopping up the stairs after Rofi. Though Theo shakes his head, his smile and swishing tail reveal that he's quite pleased with Rofi and Hunter's indulgence. He turns to face me again. I'm not going with them, Theo? Leo? Nah, I think I'll just hang in the kitchen and wait for dinner. I don't really want to fight those two for snacks anyway. I have a sneaking suspicion I'd lose. If you say so, I'll go fit your air mattress and get it set up. I'll just be a few minutes. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Theo. It's my pleasure. We pass one another and I head off to the kitchen, breathing a quiet sigh of relief. Normally I'd be anxious in a situation like this, depending on his generosity, meeting new people in an unfamiliar place. But Theo, something about him puts me at ease. Maybe it's the sense that he really doesn't expect anything in return. From the way he talks, he makes it sound like I'm doing him a favor by staying here. Maybe he's lonely. The kitchen is spacious but comfortable, lived in but not cluttered or claustrophobic. My eyes are immediately drawn to the big windows looking out into the small backyard space. Well, they would be showing off the backyard if the snow and ice hadn't rendered them almost fully opaque. I settle down at the big kitchen table and watch the weather try to get in, frosty fingers sliding down the fragile panes of glass. It isn't long before Theo comes back with 2 folding chairs and starts to set them up. As I watch him work, I absent-mindedly rub the old table's surface, my paw pads finding curves and divots impressed into the wood. I trace the path of what feels like a cursive letter T and then an H. Peering more closely, I see the telltale marks of many words, crisscrossing and folding over one another across the matte surface. Yeah, those are what you think they are. He cracks open a beer as he talks. This was my aunt's house. I used to come here growing up and do my homework at this very table. I would always press down really hard when doing cursive, and the pencil marked up the surface of the paper. On. My mind drifts back to the photo in the stairwell, Theo and an older Arctic fox. He sits down in a seat across from me, and the old wooden chair produces a loud creak. But that was centuries ago, of course. I understand kids these days aren't even learning cursive anymore. Kids these days? He's kidding, right? Theo's eyes twinkle mischievously, clearly watching for my reaction. Hey, I still had to learn it, and it turned out to be useless, of course, but I bet I spent just as much time on it as you did. And a fat lot of good it did us. I always thought it was a waste of time, too. Theo snaps his fingers and stands again. Right, dinner. Can't expect everyone to be happy with just soda and chips. Let's see. He starts rummaging through the fridge and cupboards. I hope simple food is okay with you. I'm decent in the kitchen, but... At that moment, Artemis walks carefully through the doorway. 3 paper bags bounce precariously in his grip. He has the juggling skills of an experienced waiter. What's all this? Some groceries from my place. No point in letting it all rot. Second now. Water time. Oh, right, yeah. Wherever you can find room in the fridge. Artemis nods at me in greeting, then begins rummaging around in the bags. Green vegetables, fresh herbs, a bag of apples. Good timing, too. I was just starting to prep for dinner. Artemis shakes his head, his sharp eyes flitting around the kitchen. No, I expect you to let me cook tonight, Theo. It's the least I can do to repay you. Theo blinks, somewhat taken aback. For a moment he seems about to object. Then he breaks into a warm smile and settles back into his chair with another creak. That's an offer I'll gladly accept. To be honest, cooking for 6 was the one thing I was worried about. I'll make a mean dinner for 1, but anything past that? He chuckles softly, shaking his head. Where do you keep your spices? The bird pulls a couple containers out of the smallest bag. Garlic powder, paprika, pepper, and a few others I didn't recognize. I feel a pang of guilt at the sight. If I hadn't been ready to leave town, I'd have some food to contribute, too. Just as Theo starts to answer, Hunter strides into the kitchen, an open chip bag in one paw and phone in the other. He walks up to me and holds out both. Here, Leo, put your number in. I'm starting to group chat. Also have a chip if you want. Oh, sure, no problem. As I'm typing in my number, he turns to Theo and rattles the bag. These things are amazing, Theo. You gotta tell me where you get them sometime. Theo gives him a thumbs up and takes another swig of his beer. I hand Hunter back his phone. I'm honestly not sure how much the group chat will get used, but whatever. You two as well. I mean, we'll all be stuck in the same house. Do we really need a group chat? Why not? Just in case. Here, Theo. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!